Hi, welcome. I'm Miss Steinley and this is my 3rd grade classroom. And today I want to take you on a little tour so you can see how I set up my classroom for success. And I hope that it's helpful for you. So, are you ready? Let's go. So the very first stop we're going to make here is to the whiteboard. Now I have 2 classes, so you're going to see that I have space for class A and class B. So in these boxes, it's where I keep track of their table points, and at the end of each unit, we hand out reward coupons for the winning table. And up here is actually where I keep the entire class reward. And I use this little magnet so I remember which class I have which week. Now over here, this is nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. So it just says the day and then the month, and then we actually have the date. Now down here, I keep very little supplies. But here we have just like, you know, expo markers and then erasers. Here's where I keep the days of the week and the months. And in this box here, I have these stickers. Now this is what I use for individual rewards for my students. So then if my student is being recognized, they get to put their sticker on their chart, and when they have 35 stickers, they get to redeem it for a special prize. Okay, down here, I had this shelf put in because I needed certain supplies to be more accessible. So different things like colored pencils, markers, crayons, rulers, and then you will see that I have a sharpener, but it is not plugged in. I specifically do not plug that in because students will sharpen pencils at the worst possible moment. So only at the end of the day can my Pencil Patrol student plug it in and sharpen pencils, or if we don't have time for that, at the end of the week I send a bag full of pencils home and a parent will sharpen it for me. Okay, so we're gonna move on now. Okay, now we're gonna be looking at the supply cubby. Now you'll see up at the top that I do have some cubbies allotted for my students, and that's because these cubbies over here only has 25 and I have 27 students. So the first 4 are taken for that. This guy here we'll talk about when we get over to another section. But in here I keep different supplies that I think students might need but not all the time, like Post-it notes or calculators, scissors, things like that. Some of them are still empty, but you know, we'll get there. And then I just didn't want to put glue sticks into the nice baskets, so that's why that one looks like that. On top here is where I'm going to keep my sharpened pencils. I already know a bunch are going to fall down there. I'm prepared for that. And then this here, so anytime my students have to hand in work, I have them put it in red box, and what they do is they come over and they pick a highlighter, they highlight their name, and then they find their clip and they clip their work to it, and then they just stick it right in there for me, and it works really well for me. And then of course you have to have a place for unsharpened pencils. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about this wall here. Now I used to have this as kind of like the student writing wall, but with so many students, I couldn't fit everybody's writing up there. So I decided to make this kind of more of like a working wall that could change throughout the year. So it's not for a set curriculum or a set thing. Have some different word work options on here because I'm really gonna push word work hard with my students, and then some of the no excuse words, which obviously we'll add to, and then I have space over here to add as things come up. I didn't want to completely have it all done because I think it's going to be changing throughout the year. Now I want to talk to you about the listening center. So this is my listening center. This is also where I keep my phone, and this is our listening center, and I got this at Lakeshore a long time ago, and I have a set of books here and then the actual CDs that go with it. My friend Cindy made those for me, but I used to have more books. I decided just to keep a few of them, and of course I always love to have lighting whenever possible. Okay, so my students have the option of pulling out this piano bench. They can either sit on it or they could use it as a little desktop. So that is one option. So piano bench for the win. And if they don't want to use the piano bench, they have the option of using seat crates. Or if more students want to listen to the story at a time, then that would give seating options for them. So I'm excited about my listening center. I think I've repurposed it really well. I have all of my students' cubbies here, and obviously school hasn't started yet, so there's not a ton of stuff in here, but this is like their spelling book and word work practice that they do. Each child has a name tag, and then each kid has a numbered cubby so they know which cubby belongs to them. And throughout the year we'll be adding more stuff in here. There'll be a math journal and there'll be another journal, so it'll be pretty full. And the reason I put everything in cubbies is because I actually turn my desks around so they can't put anything inside, in theory. And I do this because students lose things in there, they jam things in there, they hide things, so the desks are turned purposefully. Okay, so we're gonna move on to Student Spotlight. So I'm really excited about this because it's kind of a new area in my room. So let's take a look. Here, I have this really cute light. I think I got it at maybe Marshall's, and it just says Spotlight, but you can take these out and change. You can take them out and change what they say, no problem. And then obviously you just turn them if you don't need as many boxes. So I am going to be adding more clipboards here. I just didn't have time to make any more. And then down here we have something called open mic. So my students are allowed to put their name on here. I laminated it so they can just use an expo marker, and then we just wipe it off. And they write their name if they want to share something that they're proud of that they've done in class, such as like a writing assignment. Over here, I have different things students have given me throughout the years. So this was an actual assignment. Oh, you can't see that, but it was an assignment that my student did. And then here's just some artwork that my students did. Okay, now, this is my tweet box, my tweet basket, and that's what that red one over there is too. And inside, each one has a student's name, and if they're particularly proud of something that they did, all they have to do, clip it onto their work, and then they just stick it into the tweet box. And so once they do that, then I just take a picture of it and I send it to their parents with like a little quick note, like one sentence or something like that. And it's really, the kids love it, and parents love seeing what their children are doing, and it helps them to, you know, stay excited about school and everything like that. So that's the tweet box. Okay. So obviously I have another set of cubbies. I keep just like lined paper and blank paper because that's what a lot of students will use. And then I've had this for years, so I'm actually going to start doing this again. There we go. And it's just like a quick daily warm-up that I'm going to do with my students for math. And then up here, I just keep my timer. So then I was thinking, like, if there's anything else that I want to add there that's like math related, I could always put it up there. All right, so I have a refrigerator. It's full of like, it's not too full right now, but I just try to keep a lot of like water in there if possible. So here we have this desk. It is lower, and underneath you can see the seat crates. And I did this for a couple reasons. When we're working in small group, my students could work at this table if they wanted to, or if they're working independently, that would be another option. And they can either choose to sit on the seat crates or sit on the floor, whatever they like. But I thought that that would be nice. Even though it does kind of eat up some of my real estate here, I'm really excited to have that as a new option. Now, I want to talk to you about the desk. So I'm working on getting their student jobs on, and I was having a little trouble with the glitter vinyl. I went ahead and just wrote what each job is. So my students don't really get to pick what job they're doing. Wherever they sit is their job. And I do it based off of kind of where they sit and what would make the most sense for their job. However, a couple of them I did get down. So here's my electrician, and I'll actually have two of those. So I have an electrician, door duty, pencil patrol, and whiteboard. So that's kind of how I do jobs in my classroom. Down here you'll see that I have reading buddies. I love reading buddies. My students love them. And then I keep my whiteboards here and my clipboards, and I still have to figure out what I'm going to do with those markers. We're now at my desk area, and I have a Promethean board. It's super archaic, but it works. So I have a couple different desk situations happening. Okay, so this is kind of my area that I work in when I'm doing whole group instruction. And you know, we've got the Promethean here, right? So that's that little section. I have all of my whiteboard markers here, and it says no kids use these. That's because my kids went through them like crazy. They just destroyed them last year. So that is there for a reason. Now I've actually moved this here. It's an electric hole puncher because I found that last year I needed one handy, and I always had to like walk back there to get it and then find a plug, and it was a whole thing. Up here I've got these magnetic holders that well, she still teaches here, but she's no longer a classroom teacher here, and they hold, you know, whatever papers or whatever. I put little books in there that I'm going to read to my students. And so that's kind of what my desk area looks like. In here is just, you know, more supplies that I might need. I keep my brag tags, thank you cards, a calculator, post-it notes, push pins, reusable batteries, you know, the norm. Down here is kind of just like the setup for all the Promethean stuff, and yeah, some paper towels. Okay, I also have a Razcog, and my Razcog, I have, you know, just like stickers and stamps on top, and then I have more like office supplies down here, highlighters, Sharpies, scissors, tape, binder clips, and down here I have my SIPS cards. So last year, this was like my IB wall, but the students really couldn't access it or use it. So I wanted to make this more like, it's not a space that my students can get to, so I just make it a space for me. A lot of times at the end of the day, I'll sit in this really retro like green chair. It's really nice, and I'll work from my computer here. But in these slots, so I have different things like my Padfolio, a whiteboard, I've got these grammar minutes, my planner, and then like different composition books that I use for different things. Just some, you know, highlighters, pens, pencils, and then I keep math here, and then like practice, different like practice there. So this is my grammar minutes, and then these are our word sorts, and then I have here kind of our spelling list. I have my printer here, and then I keep some cups there and just like odds and ends. I'll probably put like our teacher read alouds here. And then this one, I've got hand sanitizer, and I have some Kleenex, and then I have these little essential oil roll-ons that a student gave to me last year. All right, so this is the view from my classroom. These are our SIPS cards, so to help with like spelling patterns. So I leave those up there for my students. And then, okay, so now I wanted to show you my reading bench. So we used to have these huge bookcases, and that didn't really work so well for me. They just took up so much space. And my friend, her husband, is really handy with like carpentry, so he made this for me. And yeah, so it fits all of these different books. So students love to sit on here. But I wanted to add some pillows. So I got this one at Walmart, $5. Target Dollar Spot, $5. Target Dollar Spot, $5. Target Dollar Spot, $5. Over here, a lot of times my students will work on computers and they need access to headphones. So I just keep them in a plastic bin next to here because it is next to the sink. So sometimes it'll get wet. So plastic in that sense is really good. And then I have just here kind of just odds and ends. So I've got my salt lamp. I have my Einstein that like actually moves. Wow, you can see that on camera. He's following you. Isn't that cool? You guys watch him. Watch. Wait, watch. He follows you. Okay, all of my field day trophies. And then I've got just like different essential oils back there that I'll diffuse. And then I've got my diffuser. So one of the ways I'm so fortunate in this classroom is I have a lot of storage. I don't have a lot of wall space, but I have a ton of storage. Kleenex and like different cleaners, more cleaners, paper towels, like lunches and whatnot. And then down here I have some like important files. My waters, the food. Up here I keep things that I just don't use too often, but mess of stuff, art supplies, paper cutter, tons of stuff in there. Okay, in here I've got like photo paper, magnets, the little clips that I was talking about earlier that the kids can keep their work. I have in here just like odds and ends, like a glue gun. This is all like whiteboard eraser stuff, and then I've got vinyl. Down here we have colored pencils, markers, crayons, glue. It's a lot of stuff, I know. Okay, and then this is a new section too. I'm really excited about it. I have now like a little chair, a chair that I can sit in. Look at the pillow, it says La McQueen. And I have other chairs for the kids to sit in, but I'm really excited about this because it's the reflection board. So they can take their number here and then choose if they want to set a goal for themselves. And these are part of our learner profile, so balanced, principled, and reflective. They can choose one or they can choose not to participate that day. And then hopefully they become, hopefully they can work towards their goal. And then we have our theme and our questions. So, okay, so this here, it's like a built-in in here. I just house different things. So here's like read alouds that I potentially might do with my students. Different things like for my own self. I have like, you know, just stuff. This section over here is all for my sub. So I have like information for the sub and then like days of the week. So they just have to pull the folder and like see how that one says Thursday, and then they just pull that folder and everything's in there for them, right? And then over here I've got like things that I need to return to people that work here, so you know, or like to the students if there was like work that needs to go back. And these are things that are like coming in. Or this section here, this is like what we're doing this unit, like my just personal teacher stuff that I need to keep on top of, assessments here, and then I've got this little file cabinet here, and it houses different things like our running records, SST information, GLAD information, things like that. Okay, as if this classroom tour wasn't long enough. All right, we're almost done. Okay, so up here, dictionaries and just different, these are former, like my students, we used to have them write books, and so that's like their stuff. And then here's where we keep like their writing binders when the kids bring them on Monday. Down here I've got all of the games, so you have just a variety of games like decks of cards, right? And then down here it's like more math related. Okay, and the very last section, so this is kind of where I will keep student mail for them, things they need to take home. And then we also have different books here, informational books, and I added a chair here because I thought that would be really fun for them to like sit back here and read. Just hopefully they don't mess with my thermostat. Okay, over here is just more storage, so I house things like, you know, Post-it notes and pencils, things like that, you know, paper, you know, the norm. Down here, this is going to be for scratch paper, more colored pencils that the students can access if they need them, and some 3-hole punch note cards. Then in here, we have construction paper for the kids, my laminator, and my Cricut. And then in here, I house different things like binders, like when you're binding books together, envelopes, things like that. Then we have my binders here, more binders here. And up here is where I kind of house just different composition books, lined paper. And then down here is where I house all the like manipulatives that the kids can use. So that's my 2018 to 2019 classroom tour. I hope you loved it, and if you're inspired to use anything in your classroom, let me know. If you have any questions about anything, I'm happy to help out. I love organizing. So that's it. Let's take one last look around the classroom. Here it is. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, whatever you want to do, but hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!